Hey, it's Rose here, and I'm at the V&A, and I've just entered the David Bowie exhibition, and the first thing that I've seen is that amazing black suit that he was wearing, and above it is written, and it's a quote from David Bowie, "All art is unstable." Its meaning is not necessarily that implied by the author. There is no authoritative voice. There are only multiple readings. So I've been giving that quite a lot of thought, and I guess that's the tone that he wishes to be set by this exhibition, which is, even though I've only just come in, it's kind of incredible. The first thing that you see, as I said, is that black and white suit, and on the left-hand side there's a pile of orange things. They look like oranges. Surely they're not oranges, are they? They are. Wow, well, we'll come back to those oranges, but the suit is the one that you've seen in all the images, and platforms, very snazzy. Well, you'll be interested to know those are oranges, and I've been close and smelt them, and they smell orangey. And what they are is, it's art to take and eat. It's called Soul City by Pyramid of Orange. And it's conceptual work by an artist called Lau, which allowed viewers to remove and eat the oranges, but obviously I will not, as I do not dare. And it was originally exhibited at the Radical Drury Lane Arts Lab, where Bowie would perform in 1968, challenging definitions of art. And apparently Brian Sewell said, "Why is it art unless it is to tell us that every greengrocer is a Michelangelo?" When you go in, you're given these headphones which have got a rather clever thing on them that you have to point in the right direction, and if you point it in the right direction then it always plays the relevant bit for whichever part of the exhibition you're in. And at the moment I'm standing in the queue by a door, and on the door is written, "David Bowie is not David Jones," which I'm wondering about. And then there's another door that I'm waiting to look through a peephole, and on that door is written, "David Bowie is ahead of himself." So what's behind that door? I'll tell you in a minute. Okay, so it's my turn to look through this peephole. I'm looking now. Right, okay, I've got my eye really close, and inside there's a screen, and the screen's at the end of a cinema, black and white. David Bowie hooked to the silver screen. I'm not going to tell you anything else about what I'm looking at, because when you come to the exhibition, I want it to be a surprise. I tell you what, though, it's kind of cool. You want to get in there? I've just been through a bit where the narration has mentioned how in David Bowie's family there was a large number of suicides, and how he felt, because he was an artist, he sort of was protected from it. And then from that it went into a 3D visual display of him in his very early years, when he was protecting or defending those who had long hair. And I'm really already bowled over by this exhibition, because so much detail and consideration has been given to it. And in particular, I can already tell that they've somehow managed to pot the essentialness of David Bowie. So they've managed to demonstrate to us his genius when he was only a 17-year-old, and to convey that. And I think that is an incredibly difficult thing to do, but they have done it. And so as soon as you enter, you're immersed in it, and as soon as you enter, you believe in David Bowie, the icon, if you didn't believe already, of course. But you can see that he was an icon at the age of 17, just waiting to grow up, really. I'm carrying on, I feel quite humbled. There's something here that's really incredible about Space Oddity. There's a whole exhibition about it, so you've got sort of the cutouts from the newspapers at the time, but in particular, Space Oddity, it says, is Bowie's biggest selling single, and it was released in July 1969 to coincide with the Apollo 2 moon landing. But Tony Visconti, who produced the album, refused to produce the single as he felt it was too much of a commercial gimmick. That's pretty amusing, really, I think, to us now, bearing in mind the immensity of the influence of that album. It's pretty incredible. comments like that kind of take you back to how it must have been at that time, and it makes you think how single-minded he must have been as a young man to hold his course. Moving on to the Starman period, one of the things that has stopped me in the track is the Starman lyrics, and it's just incredible because it's the piece of paper that he actually wrote Starman on. It's so extraordinary to be so close to that. I don't know why it's so amazing, because we all know it was on paper, but there is something about it. Perhaps because the paper's immersed in all his life and this insight into his artistry. It's incredible. I'm looking at some of his character sketches and notes for the film set in Hunger City, and it's just staggering because it's yet another element of his artistry. David Bowie's an artist in absolutely every single possible dimension. His sketches are brilliant. One of the amazing things about this exhibition is the personal elements from David Bowie. So, for example, at the moment I'm looking at the Verbicizer, and it's a little interview with him about this amazing program he created so that he would have sort of like arbitrary and randomly collected thoughts to assist him in his inspiration. And that's just like one small part of it. You feel like you're getting inside his head. It's really exciting. Other interviews include Tony Visconti, producer who's worked with him, and also the guys who's done the design for his current album, and these are all really interesting insights. I'm standing in a queue waiting to see a film of David Bowie miming, and something's caught my eye which resonates with the earlier comment, if you remember, about there having been suicides in his family, and it's this. It says that the iconic lightning flash worn by Bowie for the Aladdin Sane album cover represents a disturbed character touched by artistic genius. Bowie never performed with the flash, although he did wear it on a mask for the Diamond Dogs tour, and as I think we all know, he had it emblazoned on a jacket as well. Crikey. Everywhere you look there are little personal touches from David, notes that he's made, behind the scenes footage, behind the scenes images, contact sheets. It's wonderful. I've just walked into a room which is like a recording studio. It's got all that like foamy stuff in it, and as soon as you walk in, the automatic recording thing comes on and plays some noise of David Bowie in the studio. It's amazing. There's notes all over the wall as well. It's fantastic. And to give you an idea of the detail, in this little studio that I'm in at the moment, they've got David Bowie's albums as a backdrop against one of the walls, and then on front of it is The Next Day, which is obviously the current album, sort of like it projected a 2D way. It's incredible detail. Moving through Ziggy Stardust into David Bowie, a picture of the future, moving into the Ashes to Ashes period. Everywhere you go, there the images and the videos of the incredible footage of David Bowie's coordinated to the device that you've got draped around your neck, so that you just have to look at something and the soundtrack plays, and it's good quality sound. So the whole exhibition is seeped with his clothes, with his personal notes, and with fantastic footage, with great sound, so that you're really immersed in not only his art but also his mind. It's fantastic. I'm sitting in a huge room now on the Ziggy Stardust theme, and the ceiling must be, I don't know, it must be 50, 60 feet high, and all around me there are screens, and it's just been playing the Ziggy Stardust music and showing David Bowie having his makeup on, and the sound has been fantastic, so everybody has really enjoyed it. But what really struck me was some of the footage of the people who were watching him
it made you realise how avant-garde and daring he was, because he was so incredibly unique within the context of his time, because all the people who were watching him were, really old-fashioned. And there he is, this beacon of creativity, going absolutely crazy on stage. And the other thing is his music stops you, even without this exhibition, in every single direction. He's a genius, but his music is just phenomenal. I've moved from Ziggy Stardust into a photographic gallery, and there's basically loads of pictures on the wall, including a picture of David Bowie by Helmut Newton. In the changes room, a film about him, and it kind of sums it all up, because he said it just took a positive decision to do what he wanted to do, and only what he wanted to do. We're just paying for some goodies, and I just heard someone talking about it behind me, so do you want to say again what you just said?
Well, I thought it was fantastic, and the last room was so immersive. I could have just sat there for ages. I mean, it's just like, only because I'm hungry and I'm leaving, I could have sat there for hours just watching the videos go around. It's fantastic. It's just such a good exhibition, isn't it?
I know, it's absolutely amazing.
They've done so well. And I love the first one when you get in, when it was the London Boys bit with changing scenery, that starts in the sitting room that goes up at Soho. It's just beautiful, isn't it? So I love that bit. Yeah, it's really good. They've done it brilliantly.
We came extra from Italy for this exhibition.
Did you?
Yes.
Just to see this?
Yes.
And what did you think?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just a big emotion.
Yeah.
Just to be back in the 60s or 70s, and he's a genius for everything, fashion and culture and music and everything possible. And you?
I agree with her.
Did you enjoy
it's difficult for me to explain in English, but it was wonderful. Yeah.
And the costumes, it's just great.